Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited because we are doing new cozy mystery releases for July. I have 25 new releases, so we're just gonna dive in, and I hope you guys enjoy these as well as the little like whiteboard animations I make with them. And let's go and hop into our first one. So our first one is by one of my favorite cozy mystery authors. This was in my most anticipated cozy mystery releases video. I'll link it above if you want to see that after this. This is by Vivien Chien. It's called Peking, Duck and Cover, a noodle shop mystery. It's book 10 in the series, and it's coming out on July 23rd, 2024, and it takes place during Chinese New Year. And this series is just one of my favorites. It's like one of my ones where I get my hands on the book as fast as I can and like I read it right away kind of series because I love it so much. Our main character in this is Elise. She works as a hostess and like manager at her family's noodle shop in a place called Asia Village, which it's like this giant shopping plaza with all types of Asian restaurants, stores, bookshop, like there's a record shop I think. And Chinese New Year is supposed to be a time of fresh beginnings and celebrations of good fortune to come. Naturally, all the Asia Village shop owners are excited to participate in creating a holiday event that will bring positive light to the plaza and prosperity for everyone involved. With Lee as his right-hand woman and head event planner, Ian Sung orchestrates an extravagant evening filled with music, live entertainment, and generous giveaways. But at the end of the night, during an elaborate fireworks show in the parking lot, a member of the lion dance performance team is found dead backstage with a single bullet hole through the heart and a red envelope in the back pocket containing 4 $1 bills, an omen of death. When news of a curse on Asia Village makes its way around the plaza, Lana readily agrees to find who killed the talented dancer before anyone else is marked for death. I can't wait. And the last book in the series, Misfortune Cookie, was so good, so I am so excited for this one. So this next one I'm pretty sure is a cozy mystery. The second genre for it on Goodreads is cozy mystery, and it appears to be cozy. This one's called It's Elementary. It's coming out on July 9th. It's by Elise Bryant. I'm not sure if this is part of a series yet. So this is described as a quick-witted, escapist romp and mystery, and our main character is Mavis, and she's not a PTA mom. She is busy. She's on like some committees. She's doing nonprofit work. She's a busy mom of a 7-year-old named Pearl, and she's overwhelmed, as I think most parents are, and just most people in general. I know I'm not a parent, but I get overwhelmed easily, so I can't even imagine. Well, no one is more surprised than Mavis when she gets roped in by the aggressive PTA president, Trisha, to be on this committee. And she's like, well, if I'm gonna be on this committee, she's one of the few black parents at the school, and she figures maybe she can use this position on the committee to kind of make some positive changes in the community. Well, one night she's at the school for some of the community events, and she gets into it with the principal. They just really butt heads on things. Well, later when she's leaving, she sees Trisha, the PTA president, leaving the school with like yellow gloves on and like trash bags, and she kind of, her head goes, huh, that's weird, like, you know, especially at night, like that's kind of, you know, interesting. Well, the next day the principal is missing, and Mavis gets involved with that, and she's also connecting with the guidance counselor, who she thinks is pretty cute, to try to figure out what happened to the president. And I just love the cover for this. I love the colors. I think are just stunning, so I had to include this. This next one is a great bookish mystery series, and it's one that I'm hoping to start soon. It's called A Booktown Mystery. It's book 18 in the series by Lorna, Barrett, and it's called A Controversial Cover. It's coming out on July 16th, 2024. And this one follows Trisha Mills, a librarian, and she is ready to close the book on her amateur sleuthing. She's tired of finding dead bodies and being accused of murder, but her best laid plans often go awry. Well, Stoneham, the town, is all abuzz when Lauren Baker, a famous children's book author, arrives for an event at the local library. Lauren is a Stoneham native, and her new book strikes some members of the town as controversial. But when Lauren is found strangled to death after an altercation at the event, the plot twist throws Trisha right back into the middle of things. Who could have wanted Lauren dead? Was it Dan Reed, who had to be thrown out of the signing for spouting conspiracy theories and causing a disturbance? Was it Stella, who was Lauren's high school teacher, who thought of the author as a protege, which is something Lauren violently disputed? Or was it the mystery man who spoke to Lauren just before she was found dead? So Trisha is trying to sort through all these suspects and figure out what happened. And what's really cool about this town is that it's completely bookish themed, like it's filled with bookstores, which is why I really want to read it. Coming out on July 16th, we have The Conditions of Unconditional Love, an Isabel Dollyhouse novel by Alexander McCall Smith. and this is book 15 within the series. So Isabel's life is currently in a nice place. It's consistent, it's tidy, it's in a nice rhythm. Well, things start to get a little crazy when she has her husband Jamie, who invites this orchestra member named Dawn, who's kind of in this messy affair. I'm not sure if it's like a romantic affair or some kind of dispute. Well, Dawn is staying with them at their house, and they just start to hear these strange noises even when Dawn's not there. It's like someone's above them, like upstairs, but nobody's there that they know. And on top of that, a professor is asking Isabel to publish these conference papers, and she's kind of trying to sort that out. It seems like an odd request, especially when the funding is kind of suspect. So it's up to Isabel to sort these issues out. I haven't heard of this series, but let me know if you guys have. It sounds interesting. This next one is a crafty, like, sewing cozy mystery. It's called A Pattern of Murder, a carom seed cozy. It's book 4 in the series by Sheri, Richey, and this is coming out on the 1st. So Peggy and her friend Arlene run this craft store in Spicetown, and the mayor has been warning them recently about a lot of out-of-towners, just some weird things, and some kind of mystery arises. They weren't exactly expecting a murder, but that's what they got. So they get involved in the mystery. It's a very short description, so that's really all the detail I have, but I wanted to include this because I think it's a really fun theme. This next one is a new cozy mystery series, and it's a B&B mystery series, which is always fun. This one's called Murder on Devil's Pond, a Hummingbird Hollow B&B mystery, and that's by Ayla Rose, and it's coming out on July 9th, 2024. This takes place in Vermont, and 33-year-old Hannah Solis returns to her hometown to renovate and reopen the inn she co-owns with her sister Reggie. Their mission is to give the old Victorian hotel an entirely new life. She's planting pollinator gardens around the inn with native flowers and fruits to try to lure the honeybees and house guests alike. But her fresh start is kind of stymied by her sister's continual interference, unreliable contractors, a check-the-couch-for-coins budget, and townspeople Hannah left behind 15 years ago. Her main source of camaraderie is Ezra Grayson, an 80-year-old recluse who lives nearby. But after an unsettling conversation with Ezra, Hannah is horrified to discover him dead on her property later that day. Now, Ezra was someone who really complained about everybody, especially locals trying to force him out of his property for its prime real estate. So the town is buzzing about this death, and Hannah finds herself on the short list of suspects. So she starts to dig and quickly discovers that secrets lurk beneath the charming surface of the town she once calls home. How beautiful is the B&B on this cover? It just looks so good. I love the artwork on this. They did such a beautiful job, and I really want to read more B&B mysteries, so this one got me very excited. Next, we have book 5 of the Shady Hollows mystery series. This is called Summer's End. It's coming out on the 9th, and it's by Juneau Black. So this one is actually sort of like a little bit of a fantasy. So the main characters are actually animals. So our main character is a fox, and she's a reporter named Vera Vixen, and she and her friend Lenore, who is a raven, are going on the school field trip, like an archaeological site. It's late August, it's hot. They arrive at the site with the students, and they actually find a corpse, which maybe wouldn't be shocking, but it's a lot more recent than one would expect at like an excavation. And they discover quickly that it's actually one of the team members of the excavation team who had found the place initially, and they actually were having a fight with Lenore, the Raven's sister. So the two of them get involved in this case trying to solve it. I know this is a pretty popular series. I don't know if it's for me personally, but I think the covers are really fun. Coming out on July 12th, we have another bookish cozy. This one is called A Very Merry Murder Mystery. It's book 3 in the series. The title is The Body in the Bookstore by Rachel Beattie. And our main character, Meredith Grey, runs a bookshop, and her aunt, Cassie, and her famous mystery writer, like her favorite mystery writer, are both coming to town at the same time. So she's a little overwhelmed, but very excited by these visits. Well, she's soon let down, though, when she meets the mystery writer, and he's not quite as nice as she thought. She's pretty disappointed to, like, meet, you know, someone she looked up to and find they're not actually as nice as she thought. And then a murder happens, and her and her aunt, Cassie, get involved in solving the case. So that is that. It's a very short description, so I don't have much else to say, but I thought this one sounded fun. A bookish cozy. I mean, I feel like we all like bookish cozies, right? Because we're readers, so it's just like an innate theme I think we're all drawn to. This next book is book 31 in the series, which is incredible, and it's called Mistaken Identity Murder, a Mary Wrath mystery, book 31 in the series by Leslie Langtry, and this is coming out on July 16th. So the main character in this is Mary Rath. She's an ex-CIA agent and a Girl Scout leader, and so she should have known better than to volunteer a chaperone a middle school dance. I mean, that's just, you know, it's when kids start to get into trouble, they're a little more rebellious. Probably not the best. Well, the dance does go many places. There's even a rogue penguin who ends up in the punch bowl, which is on the cover here, which I was like, what kind of school is this? Why is there a penguin there? I don't know. I have questions. There's also a punch-induced hallucination from, like, I don't know, someone spiking the punch or something, which at a middle school dance, I mean, maybe I went to the wrong middle school, I don't know, but very interesting. And unfortunately, a man ends up murdered, and the killer is caught on film, and it's Mary. But Mary knows she didn't do it, so she's like, is someone framing me? What's going on? And on top of this, she's got all this family drama at home. She's like watching some twins. There's like a goat. There's like somebody who's like trying to figure out if they're like a prophet or something. This series always has the most interesting descriptions. I haven't read it personally. Let me know if you have, but this sounds pretty crazy. This next one is a series I have been anticipating. A Cup of Flour, A Pinch of Death, a Baker Street mystery. That's book 3 in the series by Valerie Burns. This is coming out on the 23rd, and it's one of my most anticipated releases. Our main character in this is Maddie, and she is a very social media savvy young woman. She's taken over Baby Cake's bakery from a deceased relative, and Baby the Mastiff as well. It's becoming a huge success, and she's attracted the attention of her former nemesis, the fiancé-stealing Brandy Denton. When Brandy blows into New Bison like an ill wind and disrupts a vlog Maddie's filming, their argument goes viral. After Brandy's body is found at Baby Cake's, Maddie instantly goes from viral sensation to murder suspect. As Maddie is still reeling from the murder, a stranger shows up in the bakery claiming to have been a friend of Octavia, which is her great aunt. He believes Maddie is in danger. When a second body washes up on the lake shore, it seems clear someone's out to kill to keep a secret, and it may have to do with her great aunt. So Maddie rallies her aunt's friends, the Baker Street Irregulars, the sheriff, and her vet boyfriend Michael, not to mention her English Mastiff Baby, to do some digging and find out who's behind the killings. I have loved book 1 and 2 of the series. It's a very fun, like, millennial sleuth series. Maddie's a good character. I think she's really growing as a person throughout the series, which I enjoy, and the baby, the Mastiff, is just hilarious. I mean, Mastiffs, like, I mean, they're like this big, as big as a human, basically. So I think that's just such a funny name. Another one that was on my most anticipated releases, because this has a buffalo on the cover. Okay, beat that, come on. This one comes out on the 18th, and it's called Poisoned by the Book, a North Dakota library mystery. It's book 2 in the series, written by Ellen Jacobson. So our main character, Thea Olson, is a librarian. It takes place in a small fictional town in North Dakota, and she's really excited about this fundraiser. It's an annual book fair. It's raising money for the library. She's really excited about it until the town's resident buffalo turns up demanding attention and kind of disturbing the event. Then the worst happens, a murder, and Thea gets involved. Resident buffalo? Tell them, if you live in North Dakota or somewhere where there's buffalo, is that a thing? Are there actual resident buffaloes? Like, it's so crazy, it sounds like it could be true. I don't know. But I love it, and I love buffaloes. They're so adorable. So this one had to make the list. Next, we have a supernatural and bakery cozy mystery. This one has the most beautiful cover. It reminds me of Gilmore Girls. You'll see why in a sec. This one's called Secret Sweets. This is book 18 within the Samantha Sweet Magical Cozy Mystery series, and this one's coming out on July 18th. So our main character is Samantha Sweets, and she, I guess, has some kind of supernatural power. It takes place, has a bakery, something like that. But her husband, Beau, gets a call from his cousin Cecilia, who hasn't heard from in a long time, but his cousin's husband has been murdered, and she doesn't think it's like the accident the police are making it out to be, because her husband was digging into some secrets and stuff at his workplace, and he was finding some dirt. So she thinks that someone took him out to prevent secrets from coming out. So Samantha and Beau decide to take a trip to Oklahoma to visit Cecilia and to try to help her out, because they are all too aware from their past mystery experience that murder is usually caused by a few things, you know, love, greed, revenge, trying to protect a secret, and they're there to help her out. And the gazebo on the cover reminds me of Stars Hollow, which I just love. Our next author is Vicki Delaney, and this one is called Trouble is Brewing, a Tea by the Sea mystery. It's book 5 in the series, and it's coming out on July 23rd, 2024. So Lily Roberts is our main character. This takes place in the Cape Cod area, and her grandmother has a tea room, and they're hosting a bridal shower there because, like, a local bridal party is saying like a B&B, and they're there for like the bridal shower. So the bride is, you know, all aglow, and she's opening her gifts when she lets out a blood-curdling scream because the last gift she opens is this really weird Raggedy Ann doll, which was the last gift her father gave her before he died. And it's like a really weird omen, like someone's playing a trick on her or something. Later on, Lily overhears a conversation between the groom and his father, where the groom's father offers to bribe him to call the wedding off. And fortunately, the groom is like furious and, you know, says no and is absolutely like, you know, stands his ground. So good for him. But later, the groom's father is found dead with a bottle of like whiskey next to him. But it's found out that there's actually like a lethal substance that was put into the bottle of whiskey. So it wasn't a natural death. And now Lily is looking into this, trying to save the wedding. And I think this is just the epitome of summer. You got the wedding, you got the tea by the sea. I mean, look at this cover. It's so beautiful. We really have a lot of B&B and like motel mysteries. This one's a new one and I thought this sounded so fun. It's called A Very Woodsy Murder, a Golden Motel Mystery by Ellen Byron. This is coming out on July 23rd, 2024 as well. And it involves our main character, Dee Stern, and she is a down-on-her-luck sitcom writer. And she is twice divorced. She feels like she's wasting her talents on this obnoxious kids show. And so she decides to just jump in her car and keep driving. She's got no destination until she pulls into a mid-century motel filled with cobwebs and retro charm. It's in the shadow of a national park, and it's this tiny capsule of a place that, like her, could use some work. So in the most impulsive move of her life, Dee teams up with her best friend Jeff, who happens to be her first ex-husband, to transform the aging ranch into the Golden Motel of the Mountains, a hiker's oasis on the edge of the wilderness. But Dee and Jeff soon realize that there couldn't be two people more unprepared for the hospitality business. There's also this panic when they realize that there's actual bears and that are like prowling the area, and there's a general store as the only shopping spot for miles. This is something they're not used to. They're not used to living in the middle of nowhere. Then things take a turn for the worse when a disrespectful guest ends up murdered. Now with the motel duo topping the suspect list, Dee must steer clear of a meddling park ranger, face her past in the showbiz, and determine if the killer is a local or tourist. Because as she quickly finds out, there are many worse things than a 1-star review. This just had too many fun elements. I love the fact that she's teamed up with her ex-husband. I want to know if they have like a tenuous relationship. I'm hoping not, because if they're teaming up, I don't know. There's bears. They're in the middle of nowhere. They don't know what they're doing. They're in over their head. She's an ex-sitcom writer, which I think is such an interesting one. So this just had so many factors. I'm fascinated. This next one had made my most anticipated cozy mystery releases for the first half of the year. I'll link it above. And this one is called Chaos at the Lazy Bones Bookshop, a Halloween bookshop mystery by Emmeline Duncan, and this is coming out on July 23rd, 2024. So one of the reasons I'm so excited about this is I've been reading Emmeline Duncan's Ground Rules mystery series, which is like a coffee food truck series that takes place in Oregon, and I just love it. It's been going so well. So I was really excited to see this new one, and it has such a fun theme to it. So our main character is Bailey Briggs, and as you might think from this cover and the title of the series, her favorite time of year is spooky season, and she lives in a town in Oregon that is Halloween themed all year round. Sold me right there. That was all I needed to know. And she also runs a bookshop. She is also creating a graphic novel. She's like an author for that, or an illustrator, and she's going to be running the Lit Festival nearby. Well, things go a little haywire when the Lit Festival kicks off with a murder, and she's one of the prime suspects, and apparently there's some pretty bad evidence that's really pointing towards her. So she's feeling the, she's feeling the heat. And while this town is a Halloween themed town, they don't want the reputation of being filled with murderers. That's a little more than they want, especially because I'm guessing this town is a very tourism heavy town with the theme and everything. So she teams up with her librarian friend Colby and her dog Jack Skeleton. I love the ode there, because I love The Nightmare Before Christmas, to figure out what is going on and to clear her name. And the fact that it's Halloween themed at the town, I'm just like, yes, you sold me right there. Next we have one that has such a fun theme. It's called There's No Murder Like Show Murder, and it's by M.S. Greene. It's coming out on July 23rd. This is the first one in the series. If it is a series, I don't see anything specifically stating that. And it's perfect for fans of Ellery Adams and Kelly Garrett. So for one thing, the cat on the cover's name is Hilly, which is really cute. But our main character in this is Tasha, and she is the like manager, like owner of a costume shop, which is like the behind the scenes shop that helps the local theater run, you know, and have all these beautiful plays and everything. So Tasha is of course used to her fair share of divas. She's been around the theater community long enough. Well, Kurt is just the next level. He is the main star of the current show, Annie Get Your Gun, and he's actually shot on set, like on like the stage basically. So now Tasha is getting involved with her longtime crush and her cat Hilly to try to solve this murder. This takes place in Connecticut, and Kurt has a huge list of enemies. He was a very hard person to work with. He was a big diva. He left people hanging financially, and so he's got a lot of people who could have wanted him dead, and Tasha's going to figure it out. This is a debut, so I definitely wanted to include it, and it just sounds like such a fun premise. I love the idea of a costume shop. What fun. Next we have the second one in a series that I actually just picked up book 1 for. I'm really excited to read it. It's called Charlotte Isles Is Not a Teacher. This is part of the Not a Detective mystery series by Katie Siegel. It's coming out on the 23rd. And this is a series that's based on the much-loved TikTok web series from Katie Flies Away. It's also recommended for fans of Poker Face, Knives Out, or the Finley Donovan series. Or if you enjoyed Harriet the Spy or Nancy Drew, it's like a very nostalgic one because our main character was a childhood detective, and in her adulthood she's realizing that maybe she's like, you know, hit her peak is kind of the idea of the first book, and she gets back into detective work. Well, in this one, she's actually going to be a substitute teacher, which is something she never anticipated. 20-something Charlotte is now back in the classroom. She's back in her middle school, and she didn't expect to be returning to the scene of the crime here, but here she is trying to earn money, you know, make her way as an adult. We've all been there. And she is still getting these threatening messages, and so is her aunt, who's like on the board of education. And it's a good thing that she left all those years ago her sleuthing kit in the band room, so she might be pulling that out in this one. Love the series covers for these. They're so colorful and vibrant, and just such a fun premise. I love the idea of a childhood sleuth coming back to it in her 20s. Okay, this next one, I'm not gonna lie, it sounds really adorable, but the cover itself, the dog on this, was like what purely drew me in because it has a French bulldog on the cover, and they're so cute. And it's called Milo and Mistletoe, a Molly Dishy mystery. And this is, from what I can tell, book 1 in the series. It is recommended for reading age 15 to 18, so I think this is, I guess, more of like a young adult cozy mystery series. Molly Dishy and her French bulldog Milo attend a Christmas party at Rosemary Cottage, which is a B&B run by her friend. And at this party, Milo, her dog, goes missing, and Molly must find it. So maybe it's like, I don't know if this is part of another series or something. You let me know if you know, but I had to include this because I love French bulldogs, and how cute is this dog with the Santa hat? Come on. Next we have another bookish cozy. This is called Murder in the Marginalia, and this is Aunt Alice's Bookshop mystery, book 1 in the series by Julia Ecker, and this is coming out on July 26, 2024. This is a mansion, a cat, a mystery, and a murder to solve. Haunted by a personal tragedy, Nell Murray arrives in Pepper Lake hoping to turn the page on a new, brighter chapter in her life. She's inherited her aunt's mansion and antique bookselling business, and Aunt Alice's beautiful lakeside home is more than just a house. It's a legacy. It's got secret passages, old diaries, and cryptic book-related riddles. She's also accompanied by her aunt's cat, Gatsby, and supplied with plenty of coffee from the Buttered Scone Bakery down the road. So she starts to really test this new chapter of her life, and she's trying to make new friends, trying to find like a newfound peace. But her peace is shattered when a member of the antique group, which is this close-knit group of elderly booksellers and friends of her aunt, turns up dead with a poisoned scone in hand. As the plot thickens and the bodies begin to pile up, Nell discovers that her aunt's legacy has more plot twists than the mansion's bookshelves, and someone might kill to keep those secrets from coming out. How cute is the name Gatsby for a cat? I love that. And I just love bookish ones, so this one had to make the list. We have another B&B cozy mystery. I don't know what it is with bookish and B&B ones, but apparently that's the theme for this cozy mystery release month. This one's called A Masked Murder, a Magnolia Bay mystery. It's book 2 in the series by Fiona Grace, and it's coming out on July 12th. So this takes place on a charming historic isle named Magnolia Bay, and Autumn runs this B&B there. It's very historic. She's enjoying a slower pace of life until she she arrives at this masquerade ball for the town and someone ends up murdered and she gets involved in it. I love the covers for this series. They're so ominous, very like spooky, but still fun. I love the cozy mystery series covers for this. Next we have a bookish and a cat cozy, so what could be better? It's called Dangerous Information, a Whiskers and Words mystery. It's book 10 in the series, written by Aaron Scott, and it's coming out on the 31st. And it involves rescue cats, goats who wear pajamas, and a cozy bookstore. So our main character is Lou, and she runs a bookstore, a very cozy bookstore in Button. And even though it's cute as a button, this town is not free of murder. And unfortunately, there's been a slew of robberies, which started at a robbery at Lou's bookshop. And unfortunately, she was unharmed, but her store is not. And unfortunately, these robberies continue and a local business owner is killed during the robbery and Lou gets involved with the case. This series is supposed to be completely like clean, like no foul language, which I think is supposed to be the case with cozy mysteries, but it does say that specifically in the summary, so just pointing that out in case that's something you really are looking for. Coming out on July 30th, we have Murderous Mummy, a Museum of Magical Artifacts, book 2. It's by A.A. Albright. So this one has a very interesting premise. It is supernatural. Annie has this ability where I guess she can like infer things from objects, something like that. That's why it's called the Artifacts series. And in this one, there's a local museum that has opened up this touring exhibition that's like Egyptian with mummies and stuff. Well, a mummy comes to life and murders someone, and Anne's like, I can't do this. Like, I have too much on my plate right now. She's just started Pilates. Her familiar is missing. Her longtime crush, there's drama there, and she's being pestered by this annoying treasure hunter who keeps asking her out, and she's just like, no. But she's finally, with the murder stacking up, she's like, I gotta get involved, I gotta handle this. I'm not sure if this one takes place during Halloween, like the hat kind of makes me think so, but it doesn't explicitly say that. But I thought this had such an interesting theme to it with the ability to like infer things from objects. I've never heard of that before, so I thought that was a really interesting kind of witchy element. Next we have another cozy mystery, and this is called In the Spirit of Murder, The Spirit Lake Mysteries, book 1 in the series by Rhonda Blackhurst, and it's coming out on the 24th. Our main character in this is Andy Rose, and she is a 6-year sober life coach and a skeptic, and she's recently inherited her grandparents' inn, which is supposedly haunted. She also has a red retriever emotional support animal with her, so that's the beautiful dog on the cover. And unfortunately, a body is found in her grandparents' inn, and she's really worried about that damaging the reputation of the inn, not to mention, of course, being upset about the murder. And she starts to kind of get very stressed out, so she gets an AA sponsor, Sister Alice, who 30 years ago traded one habit for another. I'm not sure what exactly, but she traded something for something, and she's gonna see if she can actually convince Andy that spirits and things exist. So kind of an interesting premise. I like the idea of the skepticism with a haunted, possibly cozy mystery. I think that could be kind of fun. And then last but not least, we have a puzzle librarian themed one. It's called Puzzle Me a Murder, an Alice Pepper Lonely Hearts and Puzzle Club mystery. It's described as The Golden Girls meets Puzzle Lovers, and it's set in the Northwest. And this will be coming out on the 23rd. Our main character's name is Alice, and she has just turned 65, and she kind of expected her life to feel more peaceful and to not be such a wreck, but she's recently been divorced. There's a lot of messiness going on in her golden years, but she's recently decided to help out a friend, Ruby, who's a close confidant of her, and her husband's recently been murdered, and the eyes of the police and other people are on Ruby, thinking she's a suspect, but Alice knows this isn't the case. Ruby wouldn't do it, and her husband had plenty of enemies, so with Ruby's help, they start to sort through the suspect list, and Alice uses her unassuming persona to get more clues and to sleuth around without picking up too much attention. This takes place in a small Oregon town, and it sounds like Alice is a librarian. As far as I know, she's not retired. It doesn't say retired, so this should be kind of a bookish, puzzly mystery, which sounds fun. And that is everything from me today, guys. Thank you if you made it to the end. Thanks for sticking around with me. Let me know, what are your top 3 new cozy mystery releases for July? I'm going to leave mine in the comment down below, even though it's going to be insanely hard to pick from this amazing list. And let me know if I missed any that are coming out that you're very excited for. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I do post new mystery content and book content every week on my channel. So if you like anything cozy, mystery, thriller, anything in that realm, you'll enjoy my channel. My name is Amy Marie, and thanks for hanging out with me today. Bye!